Hi everyone, I am your host Dr. Heather Shah, and on behalf of Calwass, I would like to welcome all of you to this webinar. Thank you very much for joining us. Today we have another very interesting panel discussion, and I'm really honored to welcome and introduce our distinguished speaker. We are going to talk about women empowerment challenges and opportunities. What women empowerment is, what are the different problems they face, why there is a need of women empowerment. So we will get the best insights and recommendation in this session. So stay tuned because an amazing stuffs are coming ahead in this session. So before we start, I would like to thank the Calwas for arranging such enlightenment sessions and their support and for providing the wonderful platform. The aim of Calwas is to give you the opportunity to interact with world-renowned speakers, teachers, authors, researchers, experts, professionals, and businessmen to share their views, experiences, and tips which will create an impact and will enable you to learn new in order to grow individually as well as to grow to contribute to the world at large. As our slogan is "Come, learn, and share knowledge." So today we have excellent panel speakers. Let me start with my first guest. She has a vast experience and internationally known speaker. She's a great human being, and we always see her while contributing to the world in different ways at different platforms. So let me introduce her formally. She is associate professor in the School of Tourism and Hotel Management Department of Tour Guiding at the University of Sinop, where she has been a faculty member since 2016. She is also a head of tour guiding department. She completed her PhD at Sakarya University and her undergraduate studies at Bilikisar University. She has been also a professional tour guide for 10 years, which is almost a decade. Her research interests lie in the area of tourism management, policy and planning, organizational behavior, tour guiding, and women studies. So, welcome to Calwa's platform, and thank you very much again for joining us, Dr. Gul. I call you here. Thank you very much for joining.
Most
Okay,
welcome, respected
thank you.
professor.
Our second guest is a person who is always ready to share her knowledge and to contribute. She is a leading researcher, trainer, teacher, author. Let me introduce her formally. She is a senior lecturer, Education Management and Leadership, School of Educational Studies, USM. She is an associate fellow in National Higher Education Research Institute, USM. She is a focal point of network on education quality monitoring in the Asia Pacific. They and moreover, she is a recipient of international fellowship sponsorship by the Division of Sinology and China Studies Center for Language Education and Cooperation, Beijing. She is a visiting scholar in East China Normal University, Shanghai. She is also a consultant for a teacher capability building program, University of Science and Technology, Southern University, Philippines. Moreover, she is a facilitator of statistical analysis workshop in Bhutan, Indonesia, Malaysia, Philippines, Thailand, and Vietnam. She is a senior research and development specialist in Southeast Asian Ministries of Education, Organizational Regional Center for Education in Science and Mathematics. Along with that, she is a former primary and secondary teacher for 19 years. Last but not the least, she published more than 100 research articles in referred journals, books chapters, and proceed. Welcome to the Calwas platform, and thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Tinli Me. Thank you very
Thanks,
much.
Dr. Haider. Thank you.
Thank you. Our third guest is a person who is extremely professional, famous for her hard work, dedication, and strong commitment to the field. She has a vast experience. Let me introduce her formally. She is a lecturer of tourism management and international affair coordinator at the Partido State University, San Jose campus, Philippines. She has a membership ambassador, Philippine Association of Researcher in Tourism and Hospitality. She is a board member, Union of Filipino Tourism Educator. Moreover, she is a tourism consultant, some local government units and private entities. She is a trainer, tourist police, and the Bicol region, Philippines. She is a member of Regional Quality Assurance Team of Commission on Higher Education, Philippines. She is the President Council of Deans and Program Chairs for Tourism and Hospitality. She is the international speaker, lecturer in the particularly countries like Philippines, India, Brazil, Thailand, Pakistan, Indonesia, and Malaysia in the research, tourism, hospitality, and business topics. Her research areas are community-based tourism, event tourism, ecotourism, crisis management, consumer behavior, destination marketing, tourism, education. Moreover, she performed research reviewer role at a various journals like Team Journal of Hospitality and Tourism Malaysia, Journal of Intelligence System India, Management Theory and Studies for Rural Business and Infrastructure and Development e-Journal Europe. She is an editorial board member, Journal of Tourism and Hospitality Education Nepal. She did her BS in Tourism Management at the Polytechnic University of the Philippines and a Doctor of Business Administration from University of Santo Tomas Legazpi, Philippines. Welcome to the Calwass platform and thank you very much for joining us, Dr. Gina. Yeah, thank
Th-
you.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much,
Thank you
Doctor.
very much. Yeah. Once again, thank you all of the speaker for joining us. All of the speaker are here with us, and I'm super excited to listen to their wonderful experiences, recommendation, and suggestion for all of us. So let's get started with the first question. Uh, I start with the Dr. Tin regarding the what is women empowerment? Yes, please enlighten us about the concept of women empowerment.
Thank you, Dr. Haider. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Right?
yes, we can
Yeah,
hear
yeah,
you.
thank you. So, empowerment actually is a process from being empowered to being powered and to being empowered. Okay. So, it is quite subjective. Actually, we don't have a consensus on how to define the conceptual meaning of women empowerment. But we can always view the empowerment from two perspectives. The first perspective, perhaps we can view from individualistic, means we look at a individual empowerment in terms of their capacities, in terms of how they enact their capacities in a free exercise basis. So another perspective is we can view empowerment from collective perspective. So it could be a collective behavior within a social norm, within a context, within a community. So women empowerment, when we specific empowerment into women empowerment, we can see it as a process where the enactment of women capacities to improve their personal life, their family life, their communities or their societies. But again, these kind of definitions also context specific. It depends on what kind of context that we refer.
Yes.
What I've
Yeah.
shared just now is more on from psychology perspective. And
Yes.
we should also take into consideration that women empowerment is cultural specific. Some women, they have the capacities, but they refuse to demonstrate it because of the culture. Because I would like to give one example. Some culture, they have the women have this kind of mindset. I'm not the leader in a house. My husband is the leader. Although I'm capable, although I have the capacity, I have the leadership, but I choose not to be a leader because my role is only a housewife to take good care of my parents, my husband, and my children. So I would say here again, women empowerment is context and cultural specific. Yeah, I think that's all from my side. Thank you, Dr. Haider.
Thank you very much for such a nice definition. As you said earlier, that is fine. There is no one definition of women empowerment. It varies, and most of the UN and other agencies they define women empowerment in a different context. Yes, Dr. Bull, what is women empowerment according to you, and how do you see this concept? Yes, please.
Many thanks for a kind question, Dr. Haider. I can make a definition related to women empowerment. It is a process of promoting women's sense of self-worth and increasing their ability to determine their own choices and their rights, and also their normal right to influence social change of themselves and others. But at first, maybe the empowerment means to have agency over one's life and equal opportunity to participate in some parts of society. And also, woman empowerment, or maybe female empowerment, is a big process, and it contains different parts, which women gain influence and equal opportunity like men to pursue personal, social, and economic endeavors, and engaging in all parts of society on the same basis as men. Based on this assumption, we can make conclusion that women differ from men in their social positions, and these are differences consist of unequal power relations between the genders, and this refers to the process of increasing women access to control over the strategic life choices, and these affect them and access to the opportunities that allow them fully to realize their capabilities. Women empowerment as an economic, social, political, and cultural process uh, challenges the system of sexual discrimination that has resulted in women's subordination and marginalization in order to improve women's quality of life. It is closely aligned with female empowerment, and maybe we can determine that this is a fundamental human right, and also it is a key to achieving a more peaceful, more prosperous, and healthy world. In some Western countries, female empowerment is often associated with specific phases of the women rights movement in the history, as we see. These moments tend to be split into three ways, as in the history. The first beginning in the 19th and 20th century, and the second wave is 1980s, including some sexual revolution and the role of women society. And the third wave of feminism is seen as the beginning in the 1990s, and women empowerment and promoting women rights have emerged as a part of major global movements and developments. So there are some crucial importance in some developing countries as a woman empowerment. So we maybe we can determine also some principle for women empowerment. Firstly, we should create high level corporate leadership, and then we treat all people, not especially women or men, fairly at work, and respect and support non-discrimination women rights. And we should ensure the health, well-being, and safety all workers, and whether female or male. And especially we should promote the education, training, professional development for women, and we make some good collaboration chain between some institutions. And finally, we can campaign equality process around the society. I would like to finish my answer. Thanks for your question.
Yeah, very nicely said. And Dr. Gul, you have highlighted wonderful things which are very much interrelated and interconnected to this concept. What a nice insight. And we will come back to these points which you have already mentioned in your answer. These were so important things, but let me just get the feedback from the Dr. Gina that how do you see the women empowerment? Please enlighten us.
Okay, so yes, good evening once again.
Thank you
Yeah,
very much.
thank you for the question. Actually, when we are talking about women empowerment, we are talking about the process.
Yes.
Like Dr. Chen, am I correct? Said that it's all about process. It's a process of which women, like us, okay, gain power and control over our own lives, and of course to acquire the ability to make strategic choices in our communities, in our country or state. This particular concept is actually a fundamental human right that also considered as one of the keys in order for us to achieve peaceful and prosperous communities and of course peaceful world. This could be influenced by some factors like mentioned earlier. It's all about the like factors like culture, like their perspectives, like of course the society they belong, and of course their preferences based on what culture they are actually living in. So when we are talking about women empowerment, this is actually focused on the sense of self-worth of every woman. Okay. Considering the worth, the value of herself. This is all about it. And then the right to have and determine choices, most particularly if the women are actually belong in one community. So they have this right to determine choices and the right to access to opportunities and resources. This is really a very important the component of women empowerment. And then the right to have power to control their own lives, of course. So it's the opportunity for us, for the women, to have the right to have their choices, their own lives. They have the freedom of choice. They have the freedom of choosing who's their friends or what maybe their religious groups, or maybe the right um, to convene, the right to be with other people, and of course the ability to influence the direction of the social change. So it's actually when we say women empowerment, it's a big word. We are talking about gender equality. We are talking about giving every woman an opportunity to access everything, to speak out, to voice, to raise her voice, to communicate with others, and to share um, her knowledge, her resources to others. So that's all about women empowerment. So giving them the freedom, giving them the chance to realize their self worth, and giving them the true access to all the resources and opportunities in the society. It's all about women empowerment for me, Dr. Hyder.
Yeah. Thank you very much for such a wonderful answer, Dr. Gina, once again. Lovely to hear the comments of three respected guest speakers. It was great. So now that leads to another question, since we are talking about the resources, gender equality, and so many things. What are the problems that the women faced in the past, and what are the problems they are facing right now? For example, we used to say that the women, they have less access to the higher education, they have the barriers within the home, and the just gender discrimination and all these things. Even though we do believe that the women has a great role to play. So, Dr. Tin, as you mentioned earlier in that your opening statement as well, what are the barriers in now in the current, we call it the technology era, even in this technology era, the women are still facing these kind of issues. So how to resolve and what to do in terms of the family restrictions and particularly the access to the higher education, what to do for that? Yes, please.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Haider. So allow me to give my point of view from two perspectives. Yeah? The first one is from organizational setting in higher education. The second one is in a cultural perspective. Okay, so for the first one, that is the challenge is still there from the past until now. That is structure and hierarchy is favor of men.
Mm.
This is something that is still very obvious, I think, around the world. So what we can see that is women is still, I mean, underrepresented in top management position, such as in higher education, like vice chancellor, deputy vice chancellor, rectors, and so on, even the head of department. So I have do some searching, and I would like to share some numbers with you all here. Okay, so in year 2019, only 14% of the rectors in 46 countries with European University Association EUA members are female. So compared to 86% male. So such a big difference. And then while 22 of the European countries currently do not have any female rectors. This is the real the facts that we have to face. And in Asia, women in higher education leadership position is almost missing. And in Bangladesh, they only 0.01% of vice chancellor. In Pakistan, Dr. Haider, is about 0.04%. And in India, a bit better, 3%.
Okay.
Okay, so I would like to give a specific example here from Malaysia. Because I'm from Malaysia, I would like to share with you. So back to year 2017, we have a numbers of 4 women as a vice chancellor in public university, and 13 out of 68 deputy vice chancellor were women. But currently, after about 5 years, 2021, we have only 1 vice chancellor and 4 women as deputy vice chancellor. So the numbers is getting decreased. Okay, so even in Malaysia, we have more academic staff, female academic staff compared with male. But then when we come to the numbers of associate professors, when we come to the numbers of professor, women is still left behind. Women is still left behind. So this is the main issue here. I mean, the top management, the position of top management in favor of male instead of women. Yeah, this is what I can say is from the organizational in higher education perspective. Now, from cultural perspective, is that stereotype of male leaders as better than women leaders. There is always a stereotype there. And one of the possible reasons is a lack of female mobility. If let's say they have the promotion, but the government or maybe the authority will ask them transfer to another place, which is very far from their initial workplace. So women always will have a second thought. Should I go? Should I go for that? How about my family? How about my children? So this is always a very difficult decision made by women. Which one is more important, my career or my family? It's always in a dilemma. We don't know what to do. And also because of the role of women, we have double burden. As the tradition responsibilities, we are wife, mother, daughter, maybe subordinates, or maybe a boss for a group of employees. So sometimes it's very difficult to make a decision. Where are we actually? Okay, where are we actually? And then the situation getting worse during pandemic time. Our role almost no boundaries, very blur here. Sometimes we even be a caretakers, caregivers. We cook at home. We take care of our parents. Sometimes we have to sit with our children because of online teaching. We need to monitor them because we are so afraid that they may not able to follow the lesson. So this is also part of the issue happens now. In not only now but even before this. I would say again, the first one is the top management position in higher education still in favor of male. And then the second thing is the stereotype of male leaders always considered as better than women leaders. So I think that's all. I pass back to you,
Yeah.
Dr. Haider. Thank you.
Yeah, wonderful. Very nicely said, Dr. Tin. What a enlightenment you have given, and it's very wonderful points we have discussed. So that brings me to Dr. Gul. Dr. Gul, you have heard what the Dr. Tin has already mentioned, and it is very wonderful point. First is the organizational hierarchy. Second is the culture, and then the nowadays they are performing the multiple roles, which are very difficult. We do realize what Dr. Tin has said. It's really they are performing multiple roles at the same time, and once they are making the choices, they have to look after the whole family because they will be affected by them. So very nicely said. So these things are the same issues, or there are some other issues as well which you have noted or you have noticed? Yes, please.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thanks for your kind words, Dr. Haider. I'm so honored. Yes, this is very hard issues in my life. To sharing my roles and my responsibilities, what is the importance in my life, being a mother or being a wife or being a teacher in the universities. There are many roles
Yeah.
in my life, but this problem isn't special for me. This is the general problem in the global area, and I would like to say that as a global citizen, um, to supporting girls and women around the world is a big mission in our lives. And I would like to ask an example about that. When a man start a job, a new job, many people around them, for example, his mother or his sister, congrats them and say beautiful words and wishing very prosperous words. But when a woman do a job, start a job, many people firstly ask a question, what will you do, and what will you do with your, for example, your boy and your girls, and is there any time apart from your homeworks, and this question, many more I can say. So we should stand to this question firstly as a woman, all woman, but we should also maybe help some men supporting ideas when we are walking on our roads. Yes, there are many problems, as Dr. Teen said, and issues. Firstly, I would like to ask many. There are many problems in our lives, but the main ones is access to education. Firstly, because as the UNESCO reports in 2013, there are 31 million girls, and also there are same problems sharing with girls and women, also maybe same. 31 million girls of primary school are not in the school, and about one out of every four young women in the developing countries had never completed their primary education. This is very sarcastic reports, I think, because that number represent a huge pool of untapped girl power. And also that same report suggested that educated women are more likely to get married later, survive childbirth, raise healthy kids, find works, and earn more money, and among other positives. And other part is employment opportunities. I am from tourism industry, and also I am professional tour guides. In tourism industry, many women workers we can see, but the standards of them is very low, because as a woman we should in the moderate position in the tourism industry, for example dishwashing or cleaning the room and etc. But we shouldn't be a manager or the upper position in the tourism industry. And even a country as a wealthy and developed, for example, in the US, women still experience major inequality in the workforce. The solution doesn't change in the developed industry also, like US. And another important part is health. The World Health Organization estimates that 1,800 women die every day from preventable pregnancy related causes. This is a very high number. And the other one is gender based violence. One in three women experience physical or sexual violence in their lifetimes from their husband, from their father, and from their for example, mother or sister. It is very normal in our lives, daily lives, unfortunately. Whether it domestic abuse, rape, or sexual trafficking, gender-based violence denies far too many women the opportunity to live happy, to live healthy, and to realizing their dreams. And female and child marriage, another important problem is in the world, around the world, estimated 140 million girls will become child brides up to 2020. Girls who marry before 18 are typically denied an education and at risk of complication related to premature childbearing and more vulnerable to intimate partner violence. And another problem is water and sanitation. Sorry. When clean drinking water and hygienic sanitation facilities are in short supply, women and girls suffer most. So another important problem is, and the gender equality. Another important problem, as I say. Thanks for your question, Dr. Haider.
Thank you very much. Such a wonderful insight, Dr. Gul. As earlier you have given the wonderful insight, this time you have given another very important points and you have highlighted it very well. These are the things which our women is currently facing the problems. And there is a lot of things, and I'm sure we will take your recommendation last because this session is the orientation session towards the women empowerment, and we'll have another sessions on these things because these are very important. So let me just take the opinion of the Dr. Gina regarding the current problems. Dr. Gina, would you like to add something to that, please?
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes. Just to add my opinion about the different problems faced by women nowadays. The same with Dr. Gold and Dr. Teen shared to us. It's all about the problem and on how to access in the higher education in the corporate world and their decision making. It's all about the power. Those are the problems that really faced by women nowadays, not only in my country but of course in other countries also. So based on the data presented by Dr. Teen, um, it's quite different from here because here in the Philippines we have a lot of women in the higher position. Yeah, okay. And actually we have already two presidents, past presidents. They are all women. Okay, but of course, it's quite a problem, no, with regards to access to education, most particularly those young women, because of their, yeah, as mentioned by these two respected professors. The very problem is, of course, their family responsibility on how to balance their responsibility to their children, to the husband, of course, and of course to the extended family. So we have, in my case, we have here in the Philippines, we have that extended family. So those are the things that really considered in aiming for a promotion or a higher position or maybe an assignment in the in a far up away places. So in my own experience, I have um, an application to other country that actually I was hired supposedly, but my husband is not actually allowing me to do that because of my children, because of our children. So I have to follow. I have to be submissive to um, to the head of the family, which is actually observed here in my country, the patriarchal structure of a family. So the wife must be submissive to the husband. Okay, so that's actually a greater factor that really affect on that particular access to higher education or maybe the position in the corporate world. And aside from that, we have that such culture of beliefs that women are less competent compared to men, because there are beliefs that men are stronger than women. So those are the actually many women are very hesitant to aim for a higher position because they are not confident to get the position because of some employers with such beliefs on that particular area. So those are the things that I can add of what the two brilliant ideas shared by our respected professors.
Yes. Very nicely said, Dr. Gina. And this is the beauty when you talk to the researcher, the scholars, they will always come up with the references and statistics. So, all of you three respected guest speakers, you have given the statistics and you have quoted it wonderful. And that's what we need. And this is the wonderful orientation towards that thing. Okay, let me just ask one question since you people have highlighted in a wonderful way that women are deprived of so many things and they are just because of the multiple roles they are performing at home and because they have to look after the whole family, particularly the children. So they have to be very careful while taking any decision regarding. So the thing is that women are deprived of decision making, freedom of movement, as Dr. Gina has already mentioned. So what are the ways to empower women? And now we are referring towards the education particularly. that what do you recommend for providing education, the self empowerment, the self help, or the social interaction? Since you people have placed in a wonderful way, and I'm sure that you have come up with your hard work and dedication, and that is followed by your sacrifices, that you have done a lot of sacrifices, and then you have reached to this level. So Dr. Tin, I will start from you, that what do you recommend, that how can women be empowered towards getting the education properly, and what do you suggest for them? Yes, please. Your mic is mute, please.
May I have your questions again? I can't hear
Yes.
just now.
Yes.
Mhm.
Dr. Tin, we want to ask that if we focus only on women empowerment in terms of education. So, as an educator, you have a long history and a lot of experience, and you made a lot of sacrifices to reach this level, and you have overcome a lot of issues in your life while during your this journey. So, what do you recommend regarding the women who are facing problems regarding the access to the higher education, particularly? So, what is your recommendation to them? How can they start their journey? What about their self help and self empowerment? Most of the time, they are lacking the motivation and family support. So, what do you recommend as a woman? How did you walk through this whole journey? And what do you have to say for the 20 years back, Dr. Tin? What would you suggest to that? That what walk should they go through? Yes, please.
Thanks, Dr. Haider. So, when we talk about this education, women empowerment, I hope I can share my personal experience with all of you here. I was born in a rural area. My family just below average when I was still young. Um, I that is a rural area, so it's very difficult even to buy a textbook. Also a problem in my hometown. Um, but I think very important still back to the educators, the teachers, very important to guide the children who are underprivileged like me before. Um, but then believe me, those children have higher resilience because things is very difficult for them to get it, so they will work hard on it. This is also very important. And one more thing is that yeah, resilience is high, but the children themselves, the women, the girls, they should have a target in their life, what you want to achieve. This is also very important, but perhaps they less of exposure. They don't know where to go. People like me, when I completed my high school, the result actually enable me to apply for higher education. But because of I'm staying in a rural area, very difficult to get the information. By the time the application form sent by the university to my house is already over the deadline. I missed the opportunity. When I miss the opportunity, I have no choice, and my parents also don't have the resources, don't have the information on how to send me to the university. So no choice. I have to complete my study in pre-university. So actually, I waste about 2 years times because of that. And after I completed my pre-university exam, the result also not too bad, but I also missed the opportunity because of the geographical constraint. I missed the opportunity, and no choice again. I have to go to another district to further my study in studying teaching certificate. So that's why you see that when I was a former school teachers before for about 19 years. For about 19 years. But then all this teach me become more tough, and then it teach me becomes more like, if you want to get something, you have to work hard. You want to get something, you need to work hard, even work 2 times 3 times more than others. And then I'm also very happy because throughout my study life, I've met a few good teachers. They guide me, and then they also provide me a lot of information on how to continue your studies in higher education. So education is very important. When I went back to my home school, I realized that one limitations, I mean, especially the girls studying in the rural area, they have a very low literacy rate. So this is also the main problem. Because of that, we have the issue of high infant mortality. They don't have the knowledge in nutrition, and they also don't have the knowledge on how to take good care as a girls when they grow up, social life. They don't know all about this. So I think this is how education should take a very important role to educate our girls, although it takes time and although it's very tough and difficult. So this is what I would like to say. Education makes sense instead of it can help to increase or improve the literacy rate, especially among the girls. Because girls, really need to take good care of yourself. You really need to take good care of yourself in terms of many, many things, because your role is more than one. You are the future leaders, you are the mothers, you are the teachers, you are the daughter, and then you are subordinates, or even you are the leaders for a group of people. Yes, Dr. Haider, that's all from me. Thank you.
Very nicely said, Dr. Tin. It was so wonderful to hear your story of success. And since you shared that you were from the rural area, so I would like to tell the audience that look at her, that from where she started her journey and where she have reached, that is the wonderful thing. And that's just because of her dedication and hard work. So if she could do it, you can do it as well. But what you need to have is to have a guidance. What she has already mentioned, that the role of the teachers are very important in that perspective. And secondly, the role models, you are looking at them, they have reached to this place after a lot of sacrifices. So you must keep in mind that you have to go through the hard work as well as through sacrifices. So then the success is your destiny. So now I would like to ask the Dr. Gul regarding the same question, that what do you recommend to them, and please share your success story with them in order to motivate them. How can they be like you? Yes, please.
Thanks for your question, Dr. Haider. This is so important for me, educating women and girl. I'm sharing sometimes post related my girls on high school, because they are very important for our country and for our world. But there are little problems, and maybe even in some countries there are big problems, especially in the developing countries. Um, Educating women sometimes can be so hard, as the Dr. T said. And also maybe in some parts of the developed countries, maybe have a big problem for going to school or sustain to school of some girls, and for maybe educating women in a job. There are some difficulties, but we can do something, and there are some roles, especially as a governmental part and non-governmental part. Um, our mission has a huge and life-changing and life-saving impact. Um, and also, educated women are likely to marry at later age, maybe, and consequently have fewer children. And in fact, maybe an extra year of schooling nations can reduce a woman fertility rate by 5 or 10%. And limiting the number of individuals present will ensure improved accessibility to resources and better opportunities for all people, particularly in countries struggling with overpopulation, such as Nigeria and China, I think. And improving women education promotes continue education for whole families, not only women, especially other part of the family. In sending women to school, they are likely to encourage their children's education. This chain reaction illustrates the ways in which educating a girl improve an entire nation's access to education. For each educational year that a girl spends in primary school and her wage increased by up to 20%. By continuing with her education through secondary school, her wage increased by 25% and improving for girls, therefore ensure their socio-economic stability and success worldwide. In recent years, young women accounted for as I remember, 59% of the total illiterate population. By providing women and girls with an education, literacy rates worldwide will inevitably increase, and suggesting the overarching trend of global educational success. Women education has a tremendous impact on the environment also. According to the Brookings Institution, secondary educational opportunities for women remain the most effective investment against climate change. When women are educated, girls maintain their stability at higher rates and can recover faster from conflict. By providing women and girls with secondary education opportunities, nations also reduce their risk of war substantially and secure limitations on terrorism and extremism. Finally, women education holds a significant implication for the global community. By improving women education, the world thrives both socially and economically. Thanks, Dr. Haider.
Thank you very much for such an elaborative answer. And we would like to hear your success story as well, because you have worked and you have been working in the industry and you are working in academia as well. That is a wonderful journey. And I'm sure it's not easy to carry out two things together. So I know it would have been a much difficult for you to manage, but still you have managed and you have reached to this level. So how did you manage in terms of time, in terms of both the industry you were working, and similarly you were looking after the family as well? Was it challenging? And if it was challenging for you, please share with the audience for motivation purpose. How did you manage this?
Good. In my PhD times, I was flying to my hometown, hometown to my education city, and when I was at plane, I read a newspaper, and in the front of them, there is a quote that I remember, and I remember I said you before. I am motivated by my dreams. And after reading this, I changed my all ideas, because the main issue in my life is dreams. The problems is so normal and is the main parts of our lives, um, like negative and positive parts in the mathematics. I welcome all problems in the daily routine of my lives, and I only see the one thing, the dreams and the motivation. So other part in my life is so silent and is so blurring. It is not a problem for me. For example, some stereotypes in my society and some my woman friends unethical behavior to me in my college, because there are the usual issue in the universities. And also, I believe that in the near future, women will be at the table, at the main table in the countries, as for example, Professor Gina Antin said. And in my country, Turkey, also, I would like to be in a main part in the countries, controlling and helping to women and girls in the educational and empowering area, as I hope.
Very nicely said. Once again, thank you very much for sharing it. Yeah,
Most
I
welcome.
believe in the same way. Yes, we would take the opinion of the Dr. Gina regarding that thing. Yes, Dr. Gina, please share your view and then your story of success as well, please.
Okay, so yeah, um, I'm inspired of the stories of these two respected professors that we have here in the virtual platform, Dr. Teen and Dr. Goal. I'm very much impressed of your success stories. Okay, so but with regards to access of women to education, most particularly um, the girls. So let's take this touch point. So every child has the right to safe, formal, quality education and access to lifelong learning. This is very true. We are very much aware of this as educators. However, due to combination of factors that we discussed a while ago, many girls are forced to leave school while others never have the opportunity to go to go to school now in the first place. So being out of the school doesn't have this devastating consequences for girls' life opportunities. So this is actually a sad story for our children nowadays. So according to United Nations Population Fund, some 830 women still die every day for pregnancy, early pregnancy, and childbirth complication. So those are the things that we can actually think about, that uh, there are women, there are young women, there are children who are suffering from this kind of problems. And aside from that, they were deprived of having the educational access. So women across the world continue to suffer from gender inequality, yeah, including the child and the forced marriage, gender violence, and barriers to participation in education and employment. So those are the sad points. Okay, but according to Ashley Jude, UNFPA Goodwill Ambassador, if we invest in girls and women, the world and all the 17 sustainable goals, development goals will advance forward rapidly as a result. Yes, I agree with Ashley, with Ma'am Ashley. We can achieve those 17 goals of United Nations if we have to invest with the girls and young women for education. Because education is very much important for every girl. Education gives girls the skills to become leaders, to become transformers, innovators, and change makers, and to tackle future crises like what we are facing nowadays. Okay, so we can actually give them an equal opportunity to be in the school. Okay, so I think we need to revisit our cultural background. So I think we need to study more. We need to have such more research on how to make this um, the education for all a reality, most particularly for young women, because I believe if they are valued, these women, especially the young women, if they are valued and they have that self value, okay, they value themselves, they believe in themselves, and then they have the confidence um, to speak or to raise their voice in the society, and they must be happy. And I believe that um, a happy a happy family, comes from a happy mother or a happy woman in the family. So a happy mother. Okay, so a happy woman can actually produce happy children, and it can actually build a happy family. So if she is confident, she is um, she's valued, she's happy, and she is contented, definitely will be having a very successful community, and will be having such a successful or a progressive global community. Okay, that's my actually my point of view um, in this particular situation, because education is really important in every aspect in the society, not only for women, not only for children, but of course we are looking forward for a brighter future. So let's make it inclusive, right? So, right, doctors, let's make it inclusive. So in tourism, let's make it inclusive for our growth. um, and for my personal experience, I'm that's why I'm very impressed of Dr. Teen, because we share the same experience. I came from the rural area also, and I studied in Manila, the city center, and I was deprived of such what you shared about limited literacy because of a limited education in the rural area. And I pursued my tertiary education in Manila because I want to make a difference. It's in my head. It's in my head. Even during the time that I was in high school, that someday I want to make a difference. I want to be one. I want to be in a university, or want to teach. Actually, I took up tourism to experience traveling and to share actually my experiences in traveling to other people. And the very thing that came to my mind now when I approached the university to taking up tourism management is for me to be one of the staff in the reservations of Philippine Airlines. But but since my husband is an educator, I was I was motivated to teach in one of the universities in our locality to open up tourism management. We opened up the tourism management in our region, the first school to offer tourism management program. So we opened it 25 years ago. Okay, yes. So yeah, that's actually the motivation that I have. So I continued teaching in the tourism program, and because of the government regulations or standard to have masters and PhD, so I pursued my education. So for me, my beloved doctors and to the audience, uh, your maybe your living condition or maybe your family background is not a hindrance actually for you to succeed, for you to pursue your dreams. All you have to do is believe in yourself. Okay, have faith in him. Okay, so you must put trust to God, of course, and of course time management, and you have to be kind to your family for to of course to solicit their support to you. Okay, that's actually my personal experience. I can
Yeah.
imagine my actually I shared this to my friends now. I can't imagine, Dr. Hyder, that I am talking to you now in the international arena. It's not in my dream, actually. Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Dr. Gina. Wonderful to listen to your experiences and the journey you have walked through. That's so wonderful. And I believe that even though you came from that kind of a place and you had a wonderful dream, so that actually inspire the people who are watching it, that look at her, the way she came from and the way she started, and the thing which you and Dr. Gul has mentioned because of your dream. Yes, the dream is very much important, and I used to say that your dream should be big enough that at least let you to sleep well. If your dream is so big, it will not let you to sleep well, and then you will have time to work out on yourself and to improve yourself, to be skillful, to be dedicated towards your field and towards your the commitment towards the world. So that's what you have mentioned. It's wonderful to see that now. I would like to tell the audience that if you can watch them, they are role model for you. They reached to this level, they started their journey just like you, and they have gone through such a hardship, but they did not quit. That is the important thing. You should not quit. You should go the way that it is required. Most of the time, I used to say that do whatever is required. Don't be afraid of the challenges. Don't be afraid of the issues, because there would be issues. There is no world without issues and problems. You have to overcome. You have to seek the help of the people to guide you in the right way. For example, like these respected speakers who are always there to help you, who are always there to guide you. So these kind of things and these kind of motivational stories are very much important for the upcoming researcher and the people who are going to flourish in their life. So wonderful insight. I'm really impressed, and I really enjoyed your experiences which you have shared, and that motivates me further. That yes, if we can do it, people can do it as well, and that's the message we want to give to the world, whoever is watching and whoever will be watching this session, that please don't quit, work hard, commit yourself to you what you want to achieve in your life. Now I would like to ask the question which is very much important, and that would be the last question regarding that who are the agents of change, who can bring the women empowerment. It is the duty of government, institutions, the policies, the NGOs. Who has the this flag of change, who will bring the change? Yes, so I start with the Dr. Tin. What do you see, who can bring the change regarding the women empowerment?
Okay, thanks, Dr. Haider. So I think the key person of the key agent of change is women themselves.
Wonderful.
It's women themselves, because they are the one. If they don't want to change, no matter how great the policy is, how much the government have done on them is meaningless. They have to change by themselves. I would like to share there is one classical Chinese proverb sound as women can hold up half of the sky. In Chinese, we say 妇女能顶半边天. Okay, I hope there are some Chinese students here. Okay, so there is a recognition from the Chinese government that women is asset, is a resources contribute to the social transformations, political stability, and also economic growth of the country. So you see, women is very, very significant and very important here. Don't look down on them, although they are only a housewife. Because a good housewife can build up a healthy family, a successful family. Okay, so this is very, very important for me. First, women, you must understand your role. Although you're only a housewife, although you're only maybe you perceive yourself, I'm nobody in the society, but it's fine. You still can play your role in other ways, but you bring the betterment for the family, for the society. This is very important. First thing, and then the second thing is actually if you look at in our life nowadays, we get a very big recognition uh, with the International Women Day every year, 8 March. So why we have this special day for women? That is a very big acknowledgement for our contribution to the economy, to the culture, to the social, to the politics around the world. So for me, the first key change agent is women themselves. If you don't want to change, it's quite difficult. It's quite difficult. Okay, so the first thing is fix yourself. Fix yourself to be more higher self-esteem, more confident, and believe that you can turn impossible become I am possible. So I think that's all from me. Maybe the other two speakers can share more from
Yeah,
that. Thank you.
very nicely said. Wonderful. And then, Dr. Gul, who are the agents of change? Who can bring
Yes.
the change? Yes, please.
Thanks for your question, Dr. Haider. One of my research areas is women's studies and especially entrepreneurial activities in the tourism industry. There are some roles and responsibilities sharing between one of the main components in some industries and institutions. Yes, non-governmental organization and governments have a big role in empowering the roles. But one of these roles is maybe promoting women development and not limiting their realizing dreams and their efforts to do something, because as Dr. Teen said, woman has a vision and has a power in themselves to realizing their efforts and dreams. But important part of this that as a society, women and men, or all of them, not to make some obstacles front of the woman efforts. Maybe we can say positive things, for example, as a sister or as a daughter of my mother, and she also has some many good things in her heart, and many some plans and progress in her brain. So firstly, in a society, the importance part is, and then government should do something, because we need a little, for example, some contributions as an economic development or some funds, and non-governmental organization especially relates women, should mainly support women activities and women defense to some sexual discrimination in the societies, I think. Yes, financial assistance is a little important when starting a job, or for example, when developing our entrepreneurial minds. So maybe it is a good to get some financial assistance from governments and other institutions. That's all, Dr. Haider. Thanks for your question.
Thank you very much. Again, wonderful insight, Dr. Gul. And you have highlighted one of the issue which we have received the question as well, because of the same thing that reminded me of the micro credit. They are looking for the micro credit in order to equip and make skillful the women regarding to do the technical jobs. So again, they play a very important role. If we include them in the mainstream, they can be a major contributor. So now I would like to ask the Dr. Gina regarding the who are the agents of change. Previously, I liked the Dr. Gina phrase that that the happy woman can be a happy mother, and the happy mother means the happy family. The happy family means the happy society. The happy society means the happy country, and the happy country means the happy globe. So what we want the same thing. We want them to go as the men go, the way the people are doing their things. The women should be in the mainstream, because what statistics have been provided by Dr. Tin, the Dr. Gul, and by the Dr. Gina, the same goes that they are very major stakeholders. So we have to take them along. So who are the change agent according to you, Dr. Gina?
Okay, thank you, Dr.
Yeah.
Hyder. So with regards
Yeah.
to the agents of change for women, for us to actually achieve women empowerment. So I believe in collaboration. So of course we have to consider the collaborative efforts of the government, like Dr. Gold said, and the government, the non-governmental organization, the private sector, most particularly the education sector, in educating every woman, every woman. Okay, the little girls, for giving them free education, for giving them, for inspiring them to be a woman, a stronger woman, okay, in the future, and to have a higher confidence level in order for them to pursue their dreams. And of course, the NGOs for the funds, as Dr. Gold said, and the other trainings for livelihood trainings, for um, im- human rights awareness, women empowerment awareness. More government should have that policy. So here in my country, we have here the Magna Carta for women. It's a law protecting the children and women from abuses. So it's a law, and we have as an agency, the Philippine Commission for Women. It's an agency that oversee all the concerns of women and children in our country. So we have such help desk at the police stations in every locality for the women to report every abuses we had in their homes, or maybe in their communities. And we have such policies with regards to um, safe spaces. It's an anti-bullying act or law. Also, so those are the actions actually implemented or formulated and implemented by the government. And um, um, those works or those actions made by the government, the private sector, the collaborative approach, the collaborative efforts of those agencies, actually important in realizing women empowerment. But of course, I want to point it out that Dr. Tin is really correct. The core, okay, the primary responsibility comes from the woman itself. If you don't have that goal, you, what you, if you don't have such goal, or you have that vision, what is your purpose of living?
Mhm.
Okay, and yeah, for every woman, we must not doubt ourselves. Okay, we must believe in ourselves. Okay, and uh, as a woman, we must know that we are the masters of our fate. Okay, and never actually dreamed of success. You must work for it. That's
Oh,
my word.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, very nicely said. Wonderful. And I like the all of three guest speakers. Wonderful phrase. The Dr. Tin, what she said that it starts from you. Yes, you will take the charge of your ship. You have to become the captain of your ship, and you are the director of your life as well. So only then this journey will start. I like the phrase of Dr. Gul that she had a great dream. So the dream is very much important. If you have that dream, only then you will start working towards it. And I like the Dr. Gina phrase regarding the same thing. It's all about your own self commitment and self dedication towards that thing. You are responsible. You have to walk your journey by yourself. So it's very wonderful indeed. I would say that yes, women empowerment is so important in today's world, as women has a great role and contribution in every field. We must empower them in order to have a world better place. So I would like to tell the audience that please do follow our distinguished guest speakers and their research work, and you can email them for future collaboration, learning, guidance, as they all are very generous and always ready to help out the people. So we will provide your credentials to them, email address, so that they can seek your guidance regard that thing. So finally, it's the time to end. So I would like all of three guest speakers to please give your concluding remarks and your message to the world as teacher, researcher, trainer, learner, professional, and educator. So I would like to start from the Dr. Tin. Yes, please. What is your message to the world and your concluding remarks?
Um, we can make a difference. So let's do it and
Yeah,
just do it. That's all.
wonderful. One sentence, but very powerful. Thank you very much. Very nicely said. Yes, Dr. Gul, what is your message to the world?
Yes, Dr. Ryder. As I said before, I am a woman, and I have many challenges in my life, and um, my only the best vision is I am dreamed by my motivation. Thanks.
Very nicely said, Dr. Gul. Yes, Dr. Gina, what is your message to the world, please?
Yes. Okay, to the audience, and of course to my beloved doctors here at the virtual platform, mabuhay. And okay, as a woman, let's just let's just keep going and always make a difference, as Dr. Tin shared, and soar higher.
Yes, very nicely said. A wonderful session with all of you, the guest speakers. It was wonderful suggestion, wonderful explanation on all these things. So, in the last, I would say that yes, they have explained very well. Try to learn from these, and you have heard their success stories and what experiences they have shared is wonderful for you people. That could be a lighting for you people to walk the journey, but again with the dedication, again with the having a big dream. Again, you have to trust yourself, you have to trust the process, and then you will enjoy this journey, because it's a wonderful journey. So, thank you very much once again. It's a wonderful explanation and discussion which will help the audience to learn, develop, and develop their understanding regarding the women role in society and their contribution. So, take advantage of all the information and knowledge, important tips, and suggestions shared by the experts. So, that's all we have time for today. Thank you very much once again, Dr. Tin, Dr. Gul, and Dr. Jina. And I would also like to thank our audience who joined us. If you have any additional question about the information shared today, please email to us, or you can connect with the speakers directly through their email address and social media. Thank you all for your support and liking our sessions. Stay tuned as many sessions are on the way. Please do not miss any session. If you have any suggestion for us, do write us, and don't miss any session in the future. Thank you very much.